Main guy CBK back again with another one. Can you believe it? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Planet Watch. Now, guys, we've been waiting patiently for the software. Now we got the software. We're waiting patiently for them to sort out and iron out the little glitches. What I need you guys to do is stop farting on the sensors. You're causing confusion in the air. Too many farts. It's floating, man. They need to be able to work out your earnings. So, with that said, guys, less of the farts. Just hold your fart in. Let them deal with their little glitches. And you know what it is? The main guy is going to share exactly what is going on. Alright? I'm a day late, but the information is fresh. Catch you guys soon, man. Peace.
Hey, Planet Watchers. Good to know that you're here. So it's been a very, very busy week for everybody. So let's get straight into the heart of the matter, right? So it's been a bumpy start for our app with consequences on Kiter and aware sensor onboarding. As I said in a post, we had a choice between compressing testing times and releasing an app soon, which would enable sensor onboarding soon enough, or saying we want to get everything perfect. We will pause till January. Maybe we stop selling licenses. We stop taking orders for sensors. We take our time and we release something very polished in January. So we chose the first option, going fast and trying to do the best possible release. And of course, sure enough, this was far from perfect. Now, most issues are related to location errors. So the first major decision we took was to fix by brute force or location errors for the time being. So in November, eligible streams from Kiter and aware sensors will be rewarded even if the location is not the correct one. We forced a fraction of our sensors to be located in our offices in France. Of course, later on, we will fix this and ask you to put the correct location into the system. Following this, retroactive reward adjustments for the sensor affected by this problem, the location error, have almost all been processed by now, okay, by our reward engine. Okay, let me be clear on something. Please note that because of the size of the network, as you know, we are now in the tens of thousands of sensors, the daily rewards distribution is far from instant, for a number of technical reasons. So there is no point in opening a ticket if somebody says, hey, I got my rewards, and you check you haven't got them yet. Please don't do it. Allow a few hours for the reward exercise to complete, because there are blockchain transactions involved, a number of checks. So it's far from instant. The reward round could take 2 hours or even more in some cases. Okay, but again, the general message, let me be clear, is that we chose to release an app fast. We need additional testing. So November is what I call an extended testing period. We will fix everything. We will answer tickets. We will do things which are fair. And please be confident. So in practice, following today's distribution, rewards should be issued with regularly, every day. We are still checking some issues in relation with aware streams. Okay, there are still some issues that we are working on, and we'll be updating you in the coming days. So bear with us. November is a testing period. Finally, please note as well that the 50% Type 3 additional reward, which is funded by PlanetWatch till the end of the year, is typically issued daily, a couple of hours after the standard distribution. So all this distribution take time. Okay, that was the first important topic. The second important topic is about sensors. Now, for Arduino Type 1, There have been some delays related to manufacturing issues, availability of components, but next week we should be able to start selling the first lots within the 2021 fourth quarter batch. We are organizing batches according to quarters, but inside a batch, as soon as we get a lot of sensor, we start selling them, following, of course, the order of the waiting list. So if the batch is supposed to be 500 and we receive 50, we typically start selling this 50. So once again, you and your friend might be in the same batch, but you may not get the letter the same day or the same week. We believe this is the best way to manage the process. Now, concerning Kythera Type 3 sensors, we got an update from the manufacturer. So I'm showing you an official letter from them. And unfortunately, there have been a bit of additional delays. We are already late with respect to the initial targets. But again, you should know that nothing happens just because people don't work or are lazy. There are real serious challenges in the global market of electronic components. And I'm showing you this letter to you just to give you an idea what kind of letters we get. And it's not their fault either. It's just a global procurement issue. So a few days ago, they announced these delays. Now, the first lot of Kythera sensors is expected to reach us by the end of this month. Next week, hopefully, I'll have an update on the first lot of quarter 4 2021. So yeah, we're doing our best. Our partners are doing their best, but it's not easy. Okay, so you gotta be patient if you want to be part of Planet Watch, which is a long-term endeavor with very ambitious goals, which are not achieved in a week or in a month. Okay, now let's move on. I like to say that we received quite a number of job applications. That's very good because the team is growing, but we do need some time to reply to each and every one of us. So again, bear with us. We thank you for submitting your application. Another important chapter is tickets. So again, the message I want to give is please think twice before you submit a ticket. And I'll try to tell you now what I mean with an example. First of all, if you don't send all the required info when you submit a ticket, the ticket cannot be processed. If you just say, hey, I have a problem with rewards, that's not informative enough for us. Then the person has to get back to you and to tell me more, and then you answer. And the ticketing system is not a chat. This is not an efficient way of working. So you have to open a ticket when it's really necessary, after you have checked the white paper and all the sources of documentation. And you have to be informative in your ticket. You have to say exactly what the issue is. Now, what I'm visualizing here is an example of how you should not use the ticketing system. I mean, there is somebody who has submitted a ticket for the same issue essentially 5 times in a day, and 3 times within 2 minutes. Well, 4 times in a day, 3 times within 2 minutes. This is just a way to create problems. So if we have 4 tickets for the same thing, we cannot answer the ticket timely, and you are creating an issue that prevents us from answering maybe other more urgent and more pertinent tickets. So please remember, this is not a chat. So you have to use it correctly. The last thing I want to mention in respect to this is that at the same time, it's very helpful when you give us your feedback and report bugs. There is another way to report bugs, which is not ticketing, which is also pertinent. Within our Discord server, there is a channel called Feedback and More. And if you report bugs in that channel, that is quite useful to us. Okay, so we encourage you to do that. Okay, now this was not very, very exciting, all I said so far, was it? So now we come to some good stuff. I had kind of spoiled the fact that within November I was expecting to be able to give you 2 major announcements. Now, that's a pre-announcement of an announcement. Next week, possibly before the next AMA, there will be a major announcement which will give you an idea of the traction that our project is developing across the crypto world. So stay tuned for a major announcement early next week. And I mentioned 2 potentially major announcements within the month. The other thing that I will tell you now is that PlanetWatch will participate. I'll be in Miami at the end of the month at the Decipher event, which is kind of an Algorand ecosystem convention. It's a very cool event, and I'll be speaking. And I suspect that during that event, we might be able to release the second major announcement for the month. So it's a bumpy ride with the app. It's a bumpy ride with an innovative tech company like us. It is bumpy, but from one bump to the other, you might see wonderful stuff coming up, okay? Let's hope for the best. Now, let's get into Q&A as usual. So let me go through a number of questions. Okay, first of all, there are some questions that I received which are fairly technical questions. Now, there will be our first Tech AMA next Monday. So some of the questions that you submitted to me, which are fairly technical, please resubmit for the technical AMA. Okay, so I will focus on non-technical questions here. For example, I had a question about COP26, the major conference about climate change and sustainability. And somebody asked me what are my thoughts on that, about what is coming out of the conference, which is not closed yet, which is not finished, and what do I see as opportunities and perspective for PlanetWatch based on the outcome of that conference. Now, it's a very good question. What I've seen is a draft agreement which was published very recently. The feeling is that this draft agreement contains vague recommendations rather than hard commitments from our leaders. So recommendations about giving up on carbon and removing fossil fuel subsidies, generally speaking. And there are also some vague references to mitigation of temperature increase, to funding to developing countries, to emission reduction. So my feeling, I mean, as an environmental activist, let's say, my feeling is of too little, too late. I believe Greta Thunberg is right to criticize and push for more as an environmentalist. If I put a hat of a businessman, of an entrepreneur, all in all, I believe that awareness of the importance of climate change mitigation, environmental issues, and global health issues is growing very fast nonetheless. And that's certainly very good news for PlanetWatch, because our predicament is to deliver value through data, real-time, pertinent, timely data, which lead to actionable recommendation to protect the environment and public health. So it is the COP26. It's not very exciting, but what's exciting to me, if you want to look at the positive side of it, is that everybody's talking about it, which means everybody's talking about the environment, especially young people. So all in all, people know that we have to move and do something to protect the environment. Okay, next question, which is an important question. In the past, we pointed out the fact that residents of the state of New York cannot be onboarded by Bitmart. So when we discussed this last time, there was no DeFi option in the Algorand ecosystem. And I said, as long as New York residents have no way to get planets, we will let them buy via PayPal and fiat. And somebody has pointed out that PayPal payments have been removed, so all payments at the moment are planets only. Well, the reason is that when we discussed that point, there were no options to buy planets for New York residents at all. At this time, New York residents, and in fact anyone on the planet, can use one DeFi platform to get planets. It's named Tinyman, as many of you know, which wasn't which did not exist, had not been launched when I discussed this last time. So for the time being, New York residents should, I believe, look into the possibility of using that platform. At the same time, we are working to get listed on additional exchanges, including some which are New York State compliant. Okay. Okay, then I have a question about the history of PlanetWatch. How did the idea for the PlanetWatch project evolve? Where was I the main character who had the idea, and blah, blah, blah? Okay, yes, the initial idea for PlanetWatch was mine. The concept was then fully developed, of course, by discussions amongst the founders, team, and with some external partners. By the way, I'm an ideas guy, but execution is king. And the king of execution in PlanetWatch is Mr. Ivan de Torre. His ideas plus execution are like me. So kudos to him, kudos to the technical team, and kudos to the whole team of PlanetWatch, because everybody is really working in a very committed and very professional way. That's a tricky point. Somebody is complaining about the KYC process managed by Synapse. It is true that in some cases people got blocked by the KYC and they could not complete it, and that people are having issues with that. Okay, it is true. I should not deny it. We are talking a lot to Synapse. We are asking them to move on, to become more efficient in unlocking some features and resetting stuff. We'll keep you posted. This must improve quickly. Otherwise, we'll look for alternative solutions. But it is true. It's not working perfectly as it should. We're working on it. Somebody's asking about something I did announce, so that at some point it will be possible to check the waiting list for the sensor directly via the app when the functionalities will be available. It's on the tech roadmap. Our tech roadmap is very, very thick, and we have to prioritize in a hard way matters. For example, of course, at the moment, the top of priority is to fix issues related to onboarding, location, and all these things. So I cannot give you a delivery date yet, but this is on our tech roadmap. And if you want, please feel free to submit a question for the Tech AMA next Monday. Okay, there is another question which is very similar to something answered last week, I believe, about who is going to buy our data and why our data is so pertinent. So please refer to what I said last time. Let me just mention once again a unique selling point in our outdoor air quality data, for example. The keyword here is hyper-local, which means that there are lots of companies out there who say on the web, we have air quality data for the whole world. Look at this wonderful map with pretty colors. Many companies just skim governmental data which are published on the web, put it on a map, and then interpolate between actual sensors with some algorithms. Our challenge is to build a managed sensors, a network of real sensors. So in order to detect and analyze some phenomena like local pollution peaks, you need sensors in every street by and large. And our challenge is to build such a hugely dense and comprehensive network. I suspect, but don't take it at face value, that we already can claim we have the largest managed air quality sensor network in the world. Managed means that we know each and every sensor, we know how it works, and we put all the data together in real time. But that's the ambition. Very dense outdoor air quality sensor network to create what's called hyperlocal data. So data from actual sensors, very high spatial resolution. Okay, changing subject here. How long after I purchase the license should I be receiving the email about my position on the waitlist? Okay, let's be clear once again. In the future, we aim to send this email within 2 weeks from the purchase. In the past, we failed to keep this delay. We are establishing a process which will ensure you get the email within 2 weeks. Okay, somebody is just saying thank you, and it's always very nice to hear. With kudos to Sara Di Civita. Sara is one of our best team members, but they're all very good. She works very long hours to answer tickets and to support the communities. I think very soon we should introduce to you one by one all the team members, because they're all great people. So thank you for your words of appreciation, also on behalf of Sarah. Somebody is asking when we'll introduce two-factor authentication for logins to PlanetWatch. That sounds interesting. We'll put it on the tech roadmap. We'll evaluate this option for the tech roadmap. Somebody's suggesting that we set up a status website where people see updates on technical issues, similar to what HELIUM is doing. Again, we'll look into this. For the time being, we are launching a Telegram PlanetWatch announcement channel. But yeah, a status page is certainly an idea worth looking into. Okay, I've come to the end of my list of Q&A. I'm looking to improve further the graphics of this IMA. You might have noticed that this is different from last time. We are still deciding what's the best graphical layout, but what really matters, I believe, is that we are focusing 100% on making the network more as efficient as possible and solving all the bugs related to the last app release. So once again, November is going to be probably a bit bumpy, but on one hand you have bumps, on the other hand you have announcements which I think will indicate that we are doing something right. The first one coming early next week, and then watch this space at the end of the month when I go to Miami. Okay, thank you for your patience. If you believe we are professional and fair, I think you can kind of be confident that we are building value, and you will see this value grow, and you will be part of it if you are a planet watcher. So keep watching the planet, keep being environmentally active and environmentally conscious, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.